If you want to play free Flash games, be sure to check out CmiHD.com. Link is in the description. What's up, YouTube? Here is CMI, and today I got you guys some FIFA 16 news, and it is about the career mode, which is something that we've all been waiting for. Now there's a lot more new features, and it's going to make career mode a lot more fun. So let's jump on into it here. As you guys do see on screen here, the first thing that we're going to start off with is the pre-season tournaments. Now this is something very new in FIFA 16, and basically what it allows you to do is that in the pre-seasons, there's tournaments now. Now it's not like it's just going to be like little friendlies that don't really mean shit. Basically the tournaments is where you win trophies, and you also win a certain amount of money. So it's a good way for you to start off your transfer window by getting in some more extra cash and spending a lot and building up the team that you want to build. So as you guys of course see on screen, those are some of the three. I'm pretty sure those are the only tournaments that will be in the game, so please correct me if I am wrong. And yeah, that's really cool, and I cannot wait for it. It's gonna be cool. And yeah, let's move on to the next thing, which is the player training. You're probably like, see, am I what? There's player training? Yeah, dude, there is officially player training in this game. Now you can train your players and basically kind of like make them grow and select what they need to work on. So if you have like a defender and he's really bad at tackling, then you might want to like tell him, hey, I want you to train on your tackling, and I want you to train on your like marking or whatever, stuff like that. Basically like just these little things just make the game a lot more interesting, and they of course keep the players wanting to play more. Let's move on to the next thing, which is of course the story of the season. This is basically where, depending on how your team is doing, they're kind of gonna have like a little story. So like, let's say for example a rivalry such as, let's say Chelsea and Arsenal. The key players in that match are, well, actually the main stars are basically Eden Hazard and Alexis Sanchez. So they're going to be like, comparing stats and being like, okay, so a player to watch out for is this person, blah 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 blah, and just to make it more realistic and to give the gamer a better view on the game, and to keep them entertained. So now we have actually added in a couple extra stuff, such as signing free agents outside of the transfer window, which I'm not sure if you were actually able to do in FIFA 15. I do believe you were able to, so I don't really think that's something new, but maybe it's just where you can sign them and then they come to your club, but they won't be able to actually play for you until the transfer window actually opens up. So another thing that they've added is the scout reports. Now you guys do know that the scout reports, they normally expire after a certain amount of months. But with this one, you can scout a player, and that would go with you throughout the whole entire season. So that basically means they have the scout reports for that player throughout the whole entire season. Another thing that they've added, which I'm really happy about, is the transfer budget. Now they're actually a lot more better, because now if let's say like you're imagining like a small team and they don't really have a lot of money, but at the end of the season you actually end up with a lot of money, that all of that money won't be taken away from you by the club. You actually get to keep a large percentage of it. So basically allows you to spend more, so that way the club does not take away like 90% of your of the money that you've earned by winning tournaments and by getting, I don't know, a certain spot in the league. Another thing that they've changed is loans. Now the short loans have increased from 3 to 6 months. So that's cool. So that means you can always send out like those youngsters out on loan and see how they do in their games. Now if they do bad, of course you guys can recall them and see what you gotta like do to make them play better and for them to become that world-class player that you want them to be. Another thing as well is that now the loans have an option to be from 1 year, actually, well 1 year is a full season, so basically 2 years. So you can loan a player for 2 years, or you can send out a player for 2 years, depending on what you want to do. Now, friendly subs, this is something that should have been in the game a long time ago. Now, as you guys know, in friendlies, there's unlimited amount of subs, which of course I wish I had. Now this is finally in the game. You can put in as many players as you want, or actually substitute as many players as you want into the match. And yeah, so that's something, just little things that make the game a lot better, that EA have finally looked at, and they're like, okay, this is what we got to do to make this game interesting. And yeah, another thing is the more realistic transfers. So now you guys won't be seeing Aguero going to Real Madrid every single year, or let's say what other transfers happen? There's a lot of ones, like De Gea going to Borussia Dortmund, or what's another one? Hazard going to PSG or Madrid. You know, now they're more realistic, to where the big stars, they don't like move clubs every single year. Now they, you know, like, you'll rarely see them. You'll see like just like little things, you know, like maybe Oscar going to like Juventus or something like that, or maybe like the littlest things, you know. So those are what EA have done. Now, one last thing is the player values. Now, the values were like crazy expensive, which I know in my career modes I would like bail for example. Like when I tried to buy him, he was like 150 mil. I'm like, Real Madrid, you're definitely smoking something. But now the transfer values are more realistic as well. Yeah, so that's very cool. Guys, there is a lot more news that will be coming out for FIFA 16, so be sure to check out my channel for that. Also, I do have a question for you guys. Can you guys comment down below and tell me which FIFA 16 team you would like to see me manage in a career mode? I'm already going to be doing a Chelsea one, but I do need like those small teams that, you know, like a road to glory type of team. That like the leagues that I actually want to play in are, of course, the BPL, La Liga, and Bundesliga, and that is about it. Anyways, thank you guys all for watching, and I will catch you guys all next time. Peace.